What's going on, guys? BriarRabbit here. Today is Tuesday. That means there's a new weekly Nightfall strike, and of course, I give it a shot to go solo. So there's two things that you need to know about this week's Nightfall. The first one is that there are no burn modifiers active. That means that some of the crutches that we've relied on in the past, like using Void Burn for extra damage, is not going to be there for us. The other thing you need to know is that's okay, because this is a much easier strike than what we've been dealing with in weeks past. You should be able to get through this one with very little issue, especially once I show you how to cheese the last boss, which is a very effective method. So let's start off by going over the weapon selection. I got the Icebreaker for this, and I'm using Atheon's Revenge. I believe that's what it's called. Basically, you want two types of damage to be done here. You want to bring a weapon that does void damage. If you don't have a primary that does it, that's okay. Bring a heavy weapon. And you want a solar damage weapon. I have Icebreaker here, and Icebreaker is a perfect weapon for this week's Nightfall because it regenerates ammo, which you'll see will be very valuable later on, and it does solar damage, so it breaks the shields of the elite Cabal soldiers. Sorry, and that comes in handy big time. So those are the two things you really want to bring. If you don't have Icebreaker, don't worry about that. You can bring any solar damage sniper rifle, and it should work fine for you. I definitely would get a solar damage sniper rifle, though. I think it's really important to be able to break those shields very quickly. Otherwise, you're going to spend an awful lot of ammo taking down the big elites. Also, if you don't have a void damage primary, don't worry about that. I would select a heavy weapon like a machine gun that does void damage, and that'll take care of the scions for you. So this area here is really the first area that you're going to find is difficult, and of course I'm going to play this as conservative as possible because my life is the most important thing. I'm not going to worry about killing guys as fast as possible. I'm just going to hang back, protect myself, use Icebreaker to take on as many of these enemies as possible with positions of advantage. When I do come across the scions, I'm going to use Atheon to break down their shields. Again, if you don't have Atheon, not a big deal. Use your heavy weapon, and make sure you bring plenty of heavy weapon ammo synthesis and special weapon ammo synthesis, especially if you're not using Icebreaker. For the majority of this strike, I'll be using Icebreaker to take down as many enemies as possible. That way, I don't have to be worrying about ammo, and I can just kind of continually be plucking away at these enemies. And because of that, because I take such a conservative approach, and because I'm waiting for Icebreaker to regen ammo all the time, this actually took a fairly long time. I believe it's a 40-minute or so strike. But that's not a big problem because it was a really easy. You got to be conservative. If you rush ahead and you get yourself in trouble, then of course, you're going to pay the price for that. But for the most part, this was very easy. So I'm not going to make you sit through the entire 45 minutes. I'm going to show you, a couple of the strategy I used during the strike, and I'm going to break this video down into a few parts. Obviously, this first part here is pretty straightforward. You can see these scions. You really want to make sure you're taking down those shields as quick as possible. They can be a real pain in the neck if you're not taking down those shields with void damage. So make sure you have something with void damage, and then just stay back, stay safe. Don't get yourself into any trouble. You can try to get to this door as fast as possible and just go through the door while there's still enemies in here. The problem with that is there's so many weapons in here, or so many enemies in here with heavy weapons that you can die very quickly. So, it's up to you. It's very close to the beginning of the strike, so if you die a couple of times trying, you're not going to be, devastated. It's not like dying right at the end of the strike. But I preferred to pretty much just play this one safe, play it like it's supposed to be played, nice and safe, staying way back, using my sniper rifle to kill these guys. So I'm going to speed up the action here. There we go. So the total time for this encounter for me was around 7 minutes. I think it might have been 7.5, maybe 8 at the max. But again, just staying conservative, staying back. Once I take care of all the enemies, I'm going to move on to the next area. Now, the next area is worth noting because there are some very dangerous areas. You have to actually take care of 3, I think they call them generals or something, and they have shields. But again, using Icebreaker, using Caution, it's actually not that difficult. So we'll finish up this area here, and I'm just watching myself snipe. It's actually kind of funny to watch yourself snipe in fast motion because you feel like a quickscoper, even though you know you're damn well not. So we'll move on here, and now we're going to head outside. So this is the area where you're going to run into the 3 shielded generals. And by shielded, I mean they actually carry those big shields, so they're actually hard to take down. And, of course, the big tank. So the tank isn't a big issue. I'll show you how to get past that fairly easily. The most dangerous part of this is actually right at the beginning here when you kind of have this Colossus. I think another Colossus gets spawned in and a couple of elites kind of shooting rockets at you. But again, you know, I'm really taking it easy. I'm pulling backward. I'm letting Icebreaker do all my work for me. I'm trying to get as many headshots as I can, but I'm not worried about wasting ammo because Icebreaker regenerates it. Again, if you don't have Icebreaker, try and get it. And if you haven't got it, though, you know, don't worry about it. You can definitely use this method. You're just going to want to bring a ton of ammo synth packs because sniping at these guys is just so much safer than trying to get up in their faces and taking them out. You can see, you know, that guy really presented no threat to me because I was so far back that, you know, I could just snipe him at will. So next you're going to see a couple of these elites. I think they're Centurions here. You really want to be careful of these guys because they do rocket damage. They can do a ton of damage very, very quickly, especially the 2 of them combined. There's a Scion over there shooting at me, and again, I'm going to use Atheon to take him out. But if you don't have Atheon, just use your Heavy, and we'll just slowly, again, start taking these guys out. So I'm going to speed up this whole process. Again, I'm gonna focus on staying as far away as I can and using my sniper rifle, taking as many headshots as I can to do all this damage. So let me speed this up. All right, now we're talking. Now I've satisfied my attention deficit disorder, and we can move on a little bit faster. Really, like I said before, I'm just staying far back and you know, taking these guys out nice and slowly, but nice and safely. So it was actually fun to do the Nightfall this week. I played it once through with a couple of friends on the PlayStation Network and once through solo. And this was my second run, or my first run on solo, and it really, you know, as far as Nightfalls go, doing them solo, this was a piece of cake. Just because I think there's so much area, you can just stay so far back for most of the encounters. It really didn't present much of a problem. You do want to be careful. You'll kind of see in that little courtyard there's some Scions there. Those Scions will mess you up pretty quickly. You know, so you really want to be careful of those guys. Once the tank comes, or once a airship comes, you want to get far back because the airship can one-shot you. That thing is very, very dangerous, so you have to be careful of it. Once you start taking on the generals with the shields, you can actually headshot these guys even when their shield is up. If you're using a sniper rifle, just kind of aim to the left, kind of their shoulder, and a lot of the times you'll get critical damage. Even though you can't really see their head, the game will give you critical damage for hitting them there anyway. So you'll see me do that quite a few times against these guys. You just want to, it's kind of just to the, if you're looking at the shield, it's to the left of the shield. So it's to the general's right, and you can see sometimes you see their head popping out, like they're eyeballing you. Sometimes not. So we've killed all the generals. Now the tank is going to spawn in, and the thing to know about the tank, especially if you don't have Icebreaker, is that you don't need to care about any of the ground troops. You don't need a tank to take on the tank. You can just sit back here and snipe at them. So you'll see that I'm in this spot. I'm kind of protected by this tree and this group of rocks, and there's a few, you know, pieces of protection in front of me. Basically, I'm just going to snipe his, you know, boosters slowly but surely, and be very careful that he's not shooting anywhere near me. If he does start shooting near me, I'm going to try and get out of there as fast as possible because, as you well know, if that tank rocket comes anywhere near you, it's going to one-shot you and you're done. So I'm really going to take it easy. I'm just going to slowly snipe these things. If the guy happens to go past the rock, so if he has a clear line of sight at this area, then I will actually move back. But for the most part, he will stay to the left. I'm staying to the left. And I'll just slowly snipe these rocket thrusters as I go. You see he's almost half dead already. You can use rockets to take this guy out, but I tend to think that it's a better idea to try and save as much heavy ammo as you can for the final boss encounter. The guy's pretty nasty, you know. He's got a very small critical area spot. He can do a lot of damage very quickly. He carries a, what is it, like a, you know, a Gatling gun, and he can shoot rockets at the same time. His minions do a ton of damage too. So I would really I would keep your heavy weapon ammo as long as you can. If you have synthesis, then you can use it pretty much whenever you want, but you're constantly waiting for the cooldown timer. So once you take out that tank, you can use that method. It's very, very simple to do. I don't think I got hit once, or I didn't even take any damage. You just hop on your Sparrow and just bypass all these enemies. They're really no threat, and you've got a very short ride to the next area where you actually get to the final boss's kind of lair. I think it's actually like it's supposed to be a giant tank. I've never really taken a close look at it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a giant tank. So when I get to this next area, there's actually another group here. Watch out for that rock. It gets me every time. There's actually another group here, you can see, and they've already cleared out this whole area for me. So I got lucky here. I could just basically walk through this area without, I don't think I had to shoot anybody. They had already done the work, but once you actually get to inside of the ship, it looks like a spaceship. Maybe it's a tank. I don't see any treads. Oh yeah, I guess there's treads over there, aren't they? Yeah, that's a big ass tank. So yeah, once you get into here, I don't think there was much to think about there. You can obviously just snipe from the entrance to that area, and then you're gonna come up here. So this area can be a little tricky if you're not careful. There's two entrances. The one I just passed goes to the lower level. This one goes to the upper level. And once again, I'm going to use Icebreaker and just do headshots on as many of these enemies as I can before they can even do any damage on me. Being very careful not to give them a line of sight, because I do not want to die here. It's a long road. It takes a long time to defeat that tank. And I just want to be as safe as possible. Once we get to the next area, what you'll find is that the boss is actually fairly easy to cheese. You don't take a whole lot of risk doing it. I think it's easier than last week. You know, I did a video last week on the Nightfall where I actually fought the boss, and then later found out that it was pretty easy to cheese that boss too. You just had to be very careful of a Minotaur that would spawn behind you every once in a while. But this week, this week is really easy. So we're going to clean up this area here. We're going to go into the boss's main area. Once we do that, there are a couple enemies that we want to take care of right off the bat. I'll snipe them with Icebreaker. They're always kind of just sitting right there. We'll take them out, and then we're going to just make a beeline diagonally across the area. So I am just going to hoof it straight across, and we're going to find a set of crates. And we are going to jump behind these crates. So you'll see a shorter stack that are right in front of me right now. Right, and to the left is a taller stack. So we're just going to kind of, what you really want to do is kind of just get right in between the two stacks and jump over. And this is our spot. So from behind here, we can see the boss, we can see other enemies, we can take pot shots at them and stay in relative safety. It is worth noting that the same gaps that we're shooting through, the enemies can shoot through too. So you don't want to just stand there, you know, firing round after round. You know, you want to kind of use it strategically, move in, take a shot, move out, recover your health if you need to, then move back in, take another shot. Using this method is super, super easy. I mean, I don't know that I've ever taken out a boss this easily, and this is the last boss for the strike. So, like I said, it's very, very simple. What you're going to find is that the mobs that spawn are going to kind of hoard over here, and they're going to kind of take, they're going to protect the main boss. I don't even know what his name is, Valus or Vias. So you'll have to take out the mobs, and that can be a little bit more dangerous than the boss himself, because you'll actually have to come over to the left side here and fire from over here. There's actually a few different areas where you can fire from back here. So I'm just gonna skip ahead to a point where I show you me taking out the mobs, because essentially this whole fight is what you're seeing here. So here you can see me taking apart some of the mobs. Basically, I used the 3 different areas to shoot through to just kind of slowly and surely take these guys out using Icebreaker. I use Icebreaker mainly because it's got unlimited ammo. I could use my primary as well. And eventually I will hop out of here so that I can attract the boss's attention. What the boss does is he actually travels to the far side. You can see him way over there now, as opposed to when he was right close and I was just shooting him through the closest hole. So now I'm going to use this hole on the side and try and do a little damage on the boss. But you can see he's firing his Gatling gun at me, so it's fairly dangerous to be doing what I'm doing. So the easiest way to do it is to just kind of take care of any trash that spawns near me. You know, try not to get damaged by them. Use grenades if you have to, but make sure you don't damage yourself with your own grenade. And once he stops firing at you, you can take a couple pot shots at him and then duck back behind cover. Occasionally, let me show you this. Okay, so occasionally what will happen is you will look out all of your little portals here and you won't be able to find the boss. You want to continue doing damage on him because you don't want to be here all day. So eventually, every once in a while, I had to kind of jump out of here and just kind of attract his attention. I was hoping to get him to move back to, you know, the closest spot to me, because that's where I was doing the most damage to him. You can see he was kind of hiding behind that pillar. Sometimes he'll actually go up on the ramp, kind of to the far right of where I'm standing now. And at that point, he's basically impossible to touch unless you go out there. So again, I would just kind of jump out there, fire a quick shot at him just to attract his attention, hoping that he kind of came closer to me. And he basically did his lap back and forth across the room 3 or maybe 4 times during this whole battle. At no point did I feel like I was in mega danger. It's not like I had like a Minotaur spawning behind me every 30 seconds or anything like that. It really is the cheesiest of cheese spots. It works really, really well. All you have to really worry about is kind of finding that little spot that allows you to jump into here. And once you do that, it really is a good spot. So let's skip ahead to the end. So I've been in this spot for about a good 10-15 minutes at this point, just slowly plucking away at this guy, and finally I've got him to a, down to a level that I feel like I'm pretty close. You got to be real careful at this point because, as you can see, he's got a good angle for those rockets to come right into this area. So I'm really trying to be careful, take 1 or 2 shots, and then get out of the way so those rockets don't do too much damage on me. Just moving out of the way, and we finally take him down with a sniper rifle to the dome. It's really satisfying, and it's a really easy Nightfall. So that's it. You get your Nightfall rewards for doing it. You get the whole thing, but you really took minimal effort. It was really just at a time kind of thing. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hit that like button if you like this video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.